Yo, what the lick read? All right, look. So I was having a conversation with the man in the mirror one day, right? I often say this all the time. I said one thing a person can't do that I haven't seen yet was a person that could lie to themselves. I think it's almost impossible to do unless you just totally out your mind and delusional and just not in touch with reality. And I often tell people, I say, just look at yourself in the mirror for about 5 minutes. While you checking your appearance, why don't you look yourself in the eye and tell me what you see? So this one day, I thought about it. I had a moment of clarity. I realized that some people may not think about it or relate. You know how oftentimes in today's society, especially the way I was taught and the way I was raised, we was taught to not trust nobody, love all but trust none. That used to be the mantra. And another one of those mantras, family only, F friends. I used to say that a lot, and to some degree that's kind of true though. A lot of times going through life, you might have had people backdoor you, do you wrong in whatever type of capacity. You might have friends that y'all might not be cool with no more, family, relatives, whatever you want to classify people as. I always been a person, I don't judge nobody, but I categorize the hell out of people. I said this before, and I always tell people this, and I make it clear. If you know me, I'm known to be a straight shooter, and I don't mince words, and I don't sugarcoat nothing too much, and I mean what I say and say what I mean, because that's how I was brought up. Sometimes you might ruffle some feathers and you might say something somebody might not like. You might have to tell a person what they need to hear instead of what they want to hear. And I thought about something. I used to always say, man, I ain't really got no friends. All my real friends turned into family. But then I thought about it one day, looking in the man in the mirror, and I said, you know what? That's cap. I do have friends. As a matter of fact, I got a lot of friends. I think I might have contradicted myself. Let me break it down for you. I got real friends, fake friends, grimy friends. I got all sorts of types of friends that fit a certain category, because like I say, I categorize the hell out of people. Yeah, you probably got associates. Now, that don't apply. Friend is a friend. But sometimes, you know, we can misconstrue the two with associate and friend. Friends. And how many of us have them? I got a lot of them. I just realized I need to stop saying I ain't got no friends. And this is what I know, like I'm a likable person, a very personable person. And it's kind of hard to tell that because I'm an introvert. I don't really like being around too many people. I don't like the small talk. I beat them myself. But at the same time, I know how to move in different rooms and things like that. I make friends. I made new friends, old friends. I got all sorts of friends. And if you're like that, maybe you might want to think about that too. I thought about it, so I decided that I'm gonna stop saying I ain't got no friends. I got plenty of friends. That's the message for today, man. I'm gonna stop. I realized about something about myself. Sometimes you gotta go look in the man in the mirror.